Chelsea Football Club, top of the Premier League after another title-winning performance and result from Thomas Tuchel and his men. VAR was dead set against them in the early stages of the game, with a couple of goals being disallowed for a foul in the build-up play to Timo Werner's first shot that went across the line. Lukaku having a goal ruled out for offside as well. Southampton get an equaliser through a penalty early on in the second half, and things started to look a little bit dicey, but Chelsea Football Club stepped up as they always seem to do under Thomas Tuchel. A rightful red card to Ward-Prowse, in my opinion. We will debate that a little bit later on during the show for a reckless tackle on J5 Jorginho there. It gave the numerical advantage to Chelsea. They capitalised with goals from Timo Werner. Werner is now the highest goal contributor in the Chelsea team in the Thomas Tuchel era in relation to the Premier League. And then a great strike from Ben Chilwell to make up for his penalty that he conceded earlier on in the game to level it up, to make it 3-0, to level up his mistake and put Chelsea Football Club top of the English Premier League. We're going to delve into it. We're going to take your calls. Smash that like button. This is the Match Reaction Show on the Football Terrace. Let's go. Excellent performance from my point of view watching Chelsea today. I know I saw a lot of anger and a lot of frustration from Chelsea fans throughout the game, but I thought it was a fairly comfortable performance. Looking at the statistics, more possession, outgunned them, outshot them, outcreated them. It was just about getting the ball over the line. There's still some teething problems there with finishing the dinner at Chelsea, but everything else is where you want it to be. A silly penalty conceded was the only time that Southampton got any real joy or hope within the game, but that was only short-lived. That was short-lived indeed. Grey Wolf Dinner here says it's time that Werner gets the respect he deserves. I thought Werner was excellent today. I thought it was wrong to disallow his first goal. I don't really understand. I mean, this wasn't a foul on Walker-Peters. It was a little bit of a coming together, but it wasn't a foul. The man was just under pressure. That's all it really was. And he shouldn't have had his first goal disallowed. 110% shouldn't have been disallowed. But Werner kept himself busy. He was making great runs. He was good on the ball. He had a world-class a world-class save. Stopped him from putting the team 2-1 up a little bit before his goal. An excellent performance today. And I thought Chelsea looked better as a unit with him playing with Lukaku. The runs of Werner creating space for Lukaku, giving him more time on the ball. We know his approach play isn't his best attribute. But you can give him a little bit more time and space by utilising others. He'll do a great job. So Timo Werner, I agree. Sensational today he was. Lone Tricks says still Mike Dean in VAR can do one. Come on, you Blues. Yeah, I thought they got the Chelsea decisions wrong for me today. But the offside was offside. Like the offside, we know 110%. That was offside. You can't deny that's not an offside goal. But I thought it was really harsh, as I say, to disallow the Timo Werner goal for this foul here. But of course, 100% this was a red card. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he only just clipped the player. It's inconsequential. It's a red card because if that does land fully flush, it can snap Jorginho's leg. So it was rightfully given there. VAR, I thought, was pretty good. Daniel here says, rival fans saying 10 men like we shouldn't have been 2 or 3-0 up at half time. Absolutely agree. Like, yes, the final goals came late, but you had a goal disallowed that shouldn't have been. You dominated proceedings. You did everything right, and you got the goals. It isn't your fault that Southampton were overstretched because you were overstretching them. They got a little bit ahead of themselves, and they made that silly tackle. That's on them. You go top. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Kanya says, Timo there, very, very happy with his performance. The Red Wolf says, Chelsea showing that Manchester teams how to beat Southampton. I'll tell you what else you showed today. I'll tell you what else Chelsea Football Club showed today was how you respond to pressure. Man United losing put a bit more pressure on Chelsea. We need to step up now. We need to hand it to Man City and Liverpool. We can't let them off the hook like that weak-ass Man United and weak-ass Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team did. And you stepped up and you delivered. That is it's a title-winning performance today. Title-winning result, title-winning performance from Chelsea Football Club. Big up, Terry. I'm happy. I'm a happy guy right now. The bench and the academy players saved us today from them top of the table. Saved us today. Happy for them, top of the table for now. Yeah, and look, that might change by tomorrow afternoon. But you put yourself in the race again, as in to be top of the league going into the international break. I missed a lot of super chats. I need to go through these. I can't get them all up on the screen, but I need to go through these. We had one here from Young who says, today we celebrate because our rivals will drop points. And remember that one rival tomorrow is dropping points, if not both. Dennis says, bro, VAR is a criminal at times. That disallowed goal. It is, but then VAR is subjective. But then VAR, who knows what would have happened if Ward-Prowse hadn't been sent off? Who knows if there was no goal line technology, you wouldn't have got the Chilwell goal. So the technology is good at the same time as well, I think. Chalobah, Hudson-Odoi, and Loftus-Cheek deserve a chance. That was a super chat from Koz. And I agree with you. I think they were excellent today. I think both of them were excellent. Paul Ross here, so many I've got to catch up on, says, I think we need to boycott VAR now. Chelsea game versus Wolves. What else? It needs to be addressed. Fans can't cheer because of it. No one knows. Hashtag VAR out is what Paul Ross has got to say. Artem, I don't know if I can get Artem's. Where is Artem's chat? Artem's is here. I can get Artem's up. There we go. Good first half. Very sloppy beginning of the second half. But sometimes you have to grind out results against average teams. Loftus-Cheek looks rejuvenated. Great subs today. TB says, Chelsea with many players out found the way to win. And that is key. Anita and Dan laughed when I said bring in Barkley, is what Santos here says. Juan says, Terry, the Prem is the best league in the world, but the referees are close to the worst in multiple games. Bad calls is what Juan CFC has to say about VAR today. Well, we'll get into that discussion with the panel later. Showed our class after the red card. Loftus-Cheek has really come up big for us as of late. Definitely happy for him and will be an added element going forward. What I'm really impressed with a lot of these young Chelsea players and sort of fringe players and the like is how they've stepped up to that mark, as you say, because they're out on their rear, but they want to be in this Chelsea team. They want to fight for this Chelsea team. They want to make Chelsea better. And that, for me, if I'm a Chelsea fan, it's music to my ears. Chelsea fan here, but stop loving us. Tuchel in trouble. We are so bad. Lukaku looks lost. Terry a fanboy, but us Chelsea in London are not happy. Stephen here, the Chelsea fan, says they are not happy. Top of the league, European champions, very rarely lose, very rarely concede. I don't know what there isn't to be positive about as a Chelsea fan right now. Are you perfection? No. Are you the greatest footballing side to ever play football? No. But to not be happy as a Chelsea fan right now, I can only say, Stephen, and I respect the super chat, I can only say spoiled. That is spoiled. Up the Chelsea is what CFC Florida's got to say. Mr. Anthony in the house, he says, this is why I said Timo needs to play. Lukaku allows him to play and helps Lukaku as well. If Lukaku will get more chances, I have no doubt he will score. Should have scored at the end. Should have scored at the end. Got out of jail with that one as a striker, but the game was already wrapped up. Mike Dean was the VAR. Enough said is what Pavan has got to say. Keep these super chats coming. Prime and man like Jem backstage. Timo Werner's Secret Service here says, yes, justice for my client. I hear you on that. I do hear you on that one. Doctor here says, Ollie should be sacked right now. If it is Mourinho, you are going to scream your lungs out. I've already called for that, my friend. So I know you're not talking to me because I definitely called him out on that today. Mr. Anthony says, last year we would have lost or drawn this game. That's the difference. Timo hopefully will come alive now. What a pass from Barkley. Here is your flowers. Of course. And that's what I'd like to see today. You know, certain players that are on the peripherals that haven't really been involved, getting those opportunities, getting those chances. And then when they do well, getting that praise. That praise is very, very key indeed. Very key. I want to make sure I haven't missed any super chats. Juan here says, what is this Steve guy talking about? What a joke. Chelsea are 1 year into Tuchel. Let's him make his team and culture. Hashtag Tuchel time. Yeah, I can't imagine why anybody would be angry with anything at Chelsea right now. In terms of, I'll just say this now. We're going to bring the boys on soon. I would say this to Chelsea fans. Of course, be angry at isolated defeats. But I think we've created this kind of culture in football now where it's like, if we don't win, you're not allowed to just be angry at one bad result. It's like you have to overanalyze and overcomplicate and make big sweeping statements all the time. No. I think Tuchel got some things wrong in the last few games, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't cut your nose off to spite your face. And I think some Chelsea fans kind of fell into that trap in the last few days. And then today, with the best team for the majority of the football match, even if we look at this statistically, for a moment here, 20 shots to 6, 62% of the ball. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go back to when the red card. So this, look, before the red card, still 58% of the ball and 13 shots to 6. You're still dominating before the red card. So it really isn't something that you should all be overtly worried about, in my humble opinion. My brother here, Paul Ross, says, I'm not having it now. VAR has ruined the game of football. It's literally killed football. I'm happy and annoyed. VAR decisions after VAR decisions. More disallowed goals, I bet you. Check the statistics on them. I mean, I don't know where you can find those stats. I suppose it's just the thing. You saw it today with Man United. Yeremina's goal was given as onside by the linesman, but then was offside. I suppose the problem is when it ruins, when you get a goal, you think great, and then you get like the Timo Werner one where it was subjectively overturned is more annoying. When Lukaku's is overturned, you can see it's offside. I suppose if you lost today because of a foul in the build-up, Paul, and VAR didn't overrule it, you'd all be screaming, why didn't VAR change it? So I support it because I think it gets more decisions right than wrong. The subjective ones are just subjective. But I did think they got that one wrong today, to be fair. But I wouldn't rule out VAR based on that myself. What a game for Ruben and Timo. The academy, really. Thank you, Terry, for breaking down the logic to Stephen. I think that means cheese. I think that's what that means. I think that's what you're saying there. Was getting worried about how static we looked in the past 2 games. Credit to Tuchel for adding more runners around Lukaku and looking more fluid. And I think that's massively key to the way Chelsea want to play. They need those bodies around them. They need those extra players. They need those bodies. And they got that tonight in abundance. CFC Florida says, anyone saying Tuchel is in trouble needs to lay down the crack pipe. Yeah, he's beyond... He's no to say he's in trouble. I don't even get it. I don't even get saying it. Artem here says the same type of VAR decision went for Southampton versus Manchester United. Oh no, I hear you on that, and that's the subjectivity that frustrates people. I.e., that I know it's a different competition. I'll give you an example outside of the Premier League. AWB getting a red card and KDB not. That is what infuriates people with it, because I think we maybe had this assumption that VAR would stop the inconsistencies of subjective decisions. But it isn't the same person making the decisions each week. So I do get that element. I completely do. Werner has had 16 goals disallowed by VAR in the Prem. I read that. I'd love to know how many were for offside, though. Because if 13 of them are for offside, can't do nothing about it. Like offside is offside is offside is offside. There we go. Let's look at some member chats here. Chris says overrated defenders. I don't quite know what he's referring to when he says that. Strip Bear says I'm on slow mode. No, nobody's on slow mode. I don't think anybody's on slow mode on this stream as of right now. Freddie says, Terry, we have been lucky to get 16 points, yet only barely ahead of United. Get Lukaku out of my club. Clueless and awful finisher. Wow. Freddie here having a right pop at Lukaku. Says Chelsea are lucky to be on 16 points. Get Lukaku out, he says. That's coming from Freddie, the Chelsea fan. What are you all saying in the comments section? Are you having that? Are you having that as an opinion? I need to know from you now. Lukaku out of the team is what he's calling for here. He wants Lukaku out of the team. This Stephen guy must be an Arsenal fan, must be colorblind, is what Mr. Anthony says. Remember, we're going to share the link for you to phone in a few moments' time and have your say. What we want to hear from you is, was it a red card for James Ward-Prowse? Should he have been sent off in your opinion? Were Chelsea robbed of earlier goals in this game? What's your take on VAR? We want to speak about that on the Football Terrace this afternoon. Prime and Jem joining me very, very soon indeed. I'm going to share the link in a minute as well. Fred, you want to slap is what Paul Ross has got to say. They're not happy here. The Chelsea fans are not happy. I'm seeing Freddie out hashtags everywhere. By the way, get the emojis in use as well, ladies and gentlemen, especially you members. If you want to become a member of the Football Terrace, the link is below. You can join for as little as 99 pence per month. JJ here says, after back-to-back losses, just love the response. And do you know why I'd be very happy today as a Chelsea fan? And I was waiting for a comment before I had to say it. The system was changed slightly. Ever so slightly in terms of personnel. So let me rephrase that. The personnel and the systems were changed slightly. Werner coming in and kind of playing in that twin 10 role. Interchanging, able to... One thing Werner was great at in Germany was starting centrally but drifting everywhere. When he was having to play as the number 9 for Chelsea, I think it was very restrictive for him as an individual. What I enjoyed in relation to watching him today in the Chelsea shirt is that he was able to drift and he was able to move and he was able to be himself. You know, he was able to be himself. He was dropping deep, picking the ball up, making runs, creating space for others. Maybe this is now the eye-opener for Thomas Tuchel to say, maybe this is where I need to go now. Maybe this is the next step. This is the next step. But there we go. You are not a Chelsea fan, Terry. I know. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. I don't quite know what to say to that other than I know that I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I'll always praise good football when I see it. When I see it, that's how it goes. Andrew here says, Chelsea fan here, people need to stop with this false belief that great teams have to play champagne football 24/7. Shows you're a highlights merchant. Even the City Centurions didn't play great football through 38 games. Hashtag come on you Blues. And that is one of the most, Andrew, that is one of the best super chats we have ever had on the Football Terrace. Because you're right. It is a weird belief that teams that play amazing football 24 hours a day, every day of the week. They don't. There's always going to be peaks and troughs. There's always going to be bad performances. There's always going to be lucky wins. Today wasn't a lucky win. Today was a very good performance. A game that Chelsea deserved to win hands down. The fact the goals came later rather than sooner, that's just football. And that happens. But I didn't think Chelsea played bad at all today. I didn't think there was any... There's always going to be mistakes. And Chelsea fans will be more pernickety and like, oh, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. A little bit like when I listen to my own voice and I think it sounds awful. Clearly, 213,000 people disagree. But I don't like it. I don't like our sound. And that's how I think we treat our football clubs. But thank you very much, Andrew. Daniel's now with us. The panel coming on very soon. Then we're taking your calls. Stay with the terrace. And we're live, of course, after the big derby game today. Brighton versus Arsenal. The Mupai derby. We're live after that as well. CFC Florida says, what the F are some of these Chelsea fans chatting about? Lukaku out of the club. Absolute madness. Yeah, listen, that was from Freddie. I don't know what Freddie is talking about. It's a madness one there. I missed Lamin's comment. Lamin says the problem is not VAR. It's with the inept referees. Yeah, we have to remember that. VAR is still just a person. It's still them reading it. So VAR, I don't even think VAR is the problem. It's just subjectivity. If you remove it, we're going to have these same debates about the decisions in real time. Lukaku is class. I'm so confused about the hate towards him is what Jerome's got to say. A lot of people are. We're going to bring the panel on now to have their say. Hit that like and that share button. Let's go, people. Afternoon, gents. Congratulations. Well done for the victory today. And I'm loving that. I'm loving that jumper, Dan. That jumper is slick, bruv. I'm liking that.
Love, man. I'm just coming from work, innit? You know what I mean?
See, I like it. Where's that from? Zara? A bit of Zara?
No. It's a Nike.
Is it Nike? Oh, right. It looked a bit stylish. I didn't think it was stylish. I didn't think it'd be sportswear. There we go.
I only do the best.
I know. That's why you always think of the terrace first. That's what I'm saying. Always the best. That's what we're saying. Boys, though, really good performance today. A little edgy in the middle of the game. lots of big talking points that I want to delve into to start the show on this way around. The first one I want to speak about, I want to go to Prime first on this. Was Ward-Prowse rightfully sent off, in your opinion, mate? Was he rightfully sent off?
When I saw it the first time, I thought the red would be harsh, but seeing it upon replays and seeing it from that specific angle itself, yes, it's a red card.
It is. I mean, how about yourself, gents? I mean, there's a lot of... I saw it in real time. I thought it was a red card by the way he lunged in. What was your take on it being at the ground, Dan?
I thought it was a red, innit? What you have to remember is, especially considering the way he'd reffed the game. If you think about the way he'd reffed the game, he was given a lot of cheap fouls. There was a Thiago Silva tackle which he won the ball cleanly, but he said he went in too aggressively and gave him a yellow card for that. So for me, without a shadow of a doubt, it was a red. Obviously, I'm seeing a couple people in the comments talk about my jumper and that. It means I'm down to business. I'm wearing a shirt because seriously, I still remember all those people that were trying to drag me on the last stream. Don't worry, I've got you in my mind. But nah, man, look, it was a red card, man. For sure, definitely a red card.
Yeah, look, listen, I totally agree. Jem, are you in agreement with that? You think it was a rightful decision?
Yeah, I think it was. I think where the argument lies, and where other football fans, not Chelsea fans, rival fans, will have an argument towards it is the fact that the consistency is not there. That, you know, in another game that probably wouldn't be given as a red card. It'd be given as a yellow card, and that falls on the refs. It does. It falls on the refs. It's not VAR, the technology. It's the people using the technology that's the issue. So, yeah, for me, it is 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. It looked at it in real time. The replays made it worse in relation to that. And, you know, it's a leg-breaking tackle. If it lands at the wrong point, his foot was planted, could snap Jorginho's leg. And they've got to protect players in that way. That there's no doubt about it. In terms of VAR in general, though, during this game, Daniel, I mean, there was obviously the disallowed goal for Timo Werner, the foul and the build-up play by Aspi. Do you feel like VAR got the majority of decisions right today? Because it's getting a lot of stick, but you're obviously saying it was a red card that VAR did. We know there was a rightful offside that came in and disallowed a goal. What did you think the performance was like of VAR in general?
VAR's fine. I've been saying VAR is fine. There's nothing wrong with VAR. Like, even to the point of the fact that VAR is there to reassess situations. For anyone that needs a breakdown of what VAR does, very good breakdown on Tifo Football. You should check it out because it explains it in detail, in full depth. VAR is fine. VAR is there to reassess, to allow the referees another opportunity to look at something which might have affected a goal or which might have caused something. VAR is fine. It's now the application, and that's where they basically break it down. It's the people who then make the decisions. You get another opportunity to have a look at something, and then you don't consider the whole context. I even think the way they watch it is wrong. I think they should watch like a couple seconds back. They should watch it as if they're watching the whole game again, 10 seconds back, so you can see the full context. Then instead of slowing down just the literal incident that's happened. So look, the Werner goal, the goal he got disallowed, I think is the only mistake VAR made, because that wasn't a foul. There's no way on earth that's a foul in real time. Like that's mid speed. He wins the ball off the guy who was like lackadaisical on it. Like, there's no way that's a foul. So that was the only mistake. Apart from that, I think it was fine.
Yeah, how about yourself, Prime? I mean, are you someone that's they've changed VAR a little bit this year? There seems to be less overturns. You know, offsides, the lines are thicker, so it's less marginal calls. Do you feel like it's getting better, or do you feel like VAR is kind of going backwards?
I didn't have a problem with the way it was last season and previously. I think, like, the rules itself and the way the technology is meant to work, I think it's perfect. I think it's more or less perfect. I think it's just the way it's implemented, like over here in the Premier League. Because when you look at abroad, I don't really hear about many problems. Like, it's always within the Premier League that's there. Every match, never mind match week, there always seems to be a problem in a game. But yeah, when you look at, like, in other leagues, I don't hear much about VAR being overturned or a referee making a bad decision. VAR had to intervene. Like, I don't hear anything about that. So why is it in the Premier League there's always a problem? I think that should be looked at.
Yeah, I totally hear on that. Viewers, you'd like your views, you'd like your opinions on VARs, keep your comments and your super chats coming in. Smash that like and that share button and subscribe to the Football Terrace as well. I was going to speak about him, but there's a lot of stick in the comments today. We've had 3 or 4 like sort of super chats that have really had a pop at Lukaku. There's another one here that says, I do not want Tuchel out, but want Lukaku gone. Big 4-4, all safety, all safety, all safety. That's the third person in the comment sections. And I recognize these guys are being on other Chelsea shows. I don't see them on any others. I see them on Chelsea shows. There's a lot of stick for Lukaku today, not scoring goals, not being good enough. I mean, Daniel, I know you're a big Lukaku fan. Is this criticism? I know he's gone 5 games, no goal, but is the criticism warranted in any way, shape, or form?
I think criticism for the Juventus game. I mean, like I said, I tried to defend him in the fact that he didn't have enough created for him. So when he did have his only chance of the game, he might have been a bit cold. Yeah, you maybe might make the argument Lewandowski scores his only chance in the game. So that's fine. Criticism in terms of missing big chances is totally fine. Because we've done that to our other strikers. All I've said is that more needs to be created for him. However, if you're criticizing him saying he doesn't offer movement, I think that was the best. That was the best trio we've seen, especially that first half in terms of what they were able to offer. I think we're going down a slippery slope if we're saying if Lukaku doesn't score, then it means he offers nothing to the team. There's a reason why he plays 90 minutes every single game. So we just have to be careful about that slope. And I think the front three that played today, interchanging Cho and Mount as well, I don't mind. But Cho, either or of Cho and Mount, Werner and Lukaku is the front three going forward by far. But yeah, criticism of Lukaku I think is unfair, and it's just people wanting to get at him. And obviously, look, at the end of the day, because I came up with a nickname, of course, there's gonna be backlash if he doesn't perform. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, just be fair in your judgment. Don't judge a player just based off of the goals. He offers so much to our team, provides a platform. The reason why Werner was able to score a goal like he did today, for example, or play the way he did in general, there's no attention on him. Lukaku attracts so much attention that it gives Werner, allows him more time, more space, allows him to do what he needs to do to cook. So I'm fine. He's the perfect striker for us and for our team.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Jim? I mean, the criticism for Lukaku seems, I don't know, it just seems a little bit forced for me.
I don't understand Chelsea fans. Small minority of Chelsea fans confuse my brain massively, bro. Like, honestly, I don't get how we can win a game, and yet because our striker hasn't scored a goal, we have to make an issue of something. We're making an issue out of nothing. There's no issue to be made on Romelu Lukaku because he hasn't scored today. Yes, granted, he should have scored that one at the end that Chilwell overturned and put it in the back of the net. Yes, obviously he hit the post, come back out. But his overall performance was decent today. He held the ball up well. He linked up play very well. And we just got to accept that he won't score in every game. Yes, he needs to score goals. That's why he's been brought in to score the majority of the goals for our football club. But we won at the end of the day. Just chill and move on, man.
Yeah, do you know what? It's funny, really. Paul Ross here says because they expect them to outperform the likes of Messi and Ronaldo. I know the money that was paid for some of these players now it's all gone up, but it's all. You've got to look at it from a perspective point of view. Yes, Ronaldo, when he was sold from Man United to Real Madrid, was like 80 odd million pounds. That was 12, 13 years ago. That Ronaldo in today's money is a 300 million pound player. So you have to look at that sort of retrospectively. But people have got this weird notion now that, one thing I don't like about Messi and Ronaldo is not their fault. They broke the barometer for the expectations of goal scorers. That when these guys are scoring 40 plus league goals a season and 70, 80 goals in calendar years at times, that almost become like, if you're not doing that, you're not a good goal scorer. Like this 20 league goals is rare from players. Like some of the greatest strikers you've ever had in the Premier League barely did it or only did it once or twice. Like it's something that scoring over 20 league goals is still this huge milestone for a player. Scoring over sort of 30 to 35 goals across all competitions is, again, a massive milestone for people. He's had sort of 4 or 5 game period where Chelsea weren't so great and he kind of got hindered by that a little bit, but he'll come on strong again. I think throwing him out the team now, would just be ridiculous. And I don't quite know what people expected. And maybe there are people that didn't want him in the first place and they're just been biding their time, waiting to kind of have a go. What's your thoughts, Prime?
Terry, that's it exactly. Because everyone wants Haaland and he's meant to be this big generational, what is it you said at a certain point last season? 50% conversion, right? Because everyone had this thought process or majority of people had this thought process of getting Haaland. Because we didn't get him and we got Lukaku, they think it's a massive downgrade. Because we spent 100 mil, it's now a thing of... It's now a thing of, oh, he's not scoring today. Oh, get Lukaku, sell him. We shouldn't play him. Play a different player as a false nine, and that will work. When all of our forwards are just underperforming, and they're not creating chances for him. That's the big problem. But it's Lukaku's fault because he's not scoring in against Juventus. Like it's a stupid thought process.
No, I totally get you on that, and I'm sure David's here to tell us that he loves. Like, you're not coming for Lukaku, are you?
No, of course I'm not. I think it's stupid that people are doing that. Sorry, by the way, my voice might drop in and out. It's fresh.
Is it it's breaking. Oh.
Sharp.
Something's dropped.
But what's it? No, it was a good win. I'm not coming for Lukaku though. I'm not coming for Lukaku. I see no point in it. What I think it shows is that Werner is Werner, as I've always said, is really effective at what he does. Again, it's a bit like Jorginho. When Jorginho was doing something which he wasn't actually good at, he looks really bad. So when you look at Timo Werner and you go, he's got to be our all-out, straight-out striker, number 9, 30 goals a season. Of course he's going to look bad because that's not him. But when he's next to someone who's taking a bit of the attention away and he can use his pace to get in behind and stretch defenses, he's really good at that. That's his best job. So make sure that we're always doing that with him. Play him those two up front with another creative winger. I thought even though he came off a bit early, I thought he actually had quite a decent performance.
Yeah,
I think it was. I thought overall, and the goals came a bit late, and everyone starts to worry, but there's nothing to worry about. I know we've lost 2 games in a row, but ultimately there is absolutely nothing to worry about. We're fine. And at least you know what? We're top of the league, and right now we're above the Redbirds. So I'll take it.
But I think it's all good. It's all good and rosy. Us celebrating the win. I think it was a much needed win, especially considering. I mean, for Chelsea, losing 2 games on the bounce is a disaster. Do you know what I mean? If you saw how bad the fan base was after 2 defeats, Man City and away to Juventus, where we haven't won in 18 years in Italy. You would have thought we were on a 10-game losing streak. So it's all rosy, but there's serious questions to ask. Obviously, this is not the stream for it, but I kind of want everyone's opinions on the fact that Loftus-Cheek, top quality performance. Ross Barkley was selected to come on instead of Kai Havertz. Cho put in another. I mean, I think second half he tailed off a bit, but first half he was almost like a man possessed. So for me, Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, these guys have a lot to answer for, and Kai Havertz in particular. Look, I'm not going to be afraid to challenge players that need to be challenged, and in the same way where United fans will have the same questions of Sancho soon, even though everyone's saying he'll come along, he'll get to January and he maybe still doesn't have a goal or assist, and questions will be asked. Kai Havertz, we expected so much more, and since that goal against Liverpool, I don't think he's done enough for me. But I don't know what you guys think.
They don't get in the team. No, just keep it short and sweet, because I know he's got lots of super chats coming up. But honestly, Timo Werner, I've been saying it for a long time. He's effective. He should be starting. He's more effective than Hakim Ziyech. And at the moment, Kai Havertz is more effective than Kai Havertz. Cho, I think, took his opportunity today, something that I've been crying out for him to do when he's been given the opportunity. And now he gives Tuchel a very good problem coming after we come back from the break.
Do you know what's interesting about it? I remember having this debate years ago when Angel Di Maria was in the Man United team, and he had a good little bit of form, and I want to say it was in around the December period, kind of right, and then he picked up an injury, and for about 5 games, Ashley Young came in and Ashley Young had a really good spell, and then Di Maria came back, and there was 3 games on the bounce, and I remember one of the games I was at, and we were playing Villa, and Rudy scored a brilliant goal in that game, and there was all these. I was on a fan cam afterwards, and I remember chatting to Stephen Howson about it, and he was. Because I was doing Supper the Full-Time Devils at the time, and he was like, I can't believe we're picking Youngie over Di Maria. And I'm like, but it should always be based on meritocracy. Young's playing well. Why should Di Maria just walk back into the team? And I think we all sometimes get caught up in this. Hakim Ziyech, Kai, all these names are like they sound better. They're more exotic. The more over Loftus-Cheek, nah. Even like with Mason Mount, like, why are we picking Mason Mount, a homegrown talent, when we've got all these plethora of foreign stars or superstar names? It doesn't really matter that they're from abroad or not. You have that issue with English players sometimes. And for me, you pull on Sancho. Actually, Sancho did quite well when he came on today. But if over a 10-game period, Lingard's outperforming him, then I want Lingard to play instead of him. I don't care what you cost, what your salary is. In terms of day-to-day, week in, week out, picking the team, I want the players in form and the best players to be picked. It's another conversation as to whether or not that guy was a waste of money or whatever. I think that's a longer-term view around how long they last at your club, do they improve and whatnot. And I would say watching some of your youngsters today, or I know Loftus-Cheek's not young, but like academy players, they all stepped up today. They almost, because you're building something special, what I like seeing was these fringe players or players that maybe if the right offers came in the summer wouldn't be here. They're fighting to be part of it. And that's the positive for me as a Chelsea. If you're a Chelsea fan, the positive is look how much like Loftus-Cheek and Barkley and Trent want to be here. They're not just like putting in average performances going, I don't really care. That for me is a telltale sign that you're building something special because no one wants to leave. It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
And I think that sorry, go.
No, go on, Dan. Go.
No, and I think it plays into a kind of what is the issue with Man United. You see how when Man United win late, it's almost as if the whole game has been poor. We haven't deserved to win. I hate the football kind of thing. I think Chelsea fans today, we were all saying, especially that first half, that was the best football I've seen us play since we played Arsenal. Like early on in the season, where that first half was also great. And then you have guys like Barkley who come on. Like that ball Barkley played to Azpi. He's always been capable of that. He's just not shown it enough. And the fact that all the members of our squad are now contributing is one of the biggest reasons why I said we can win the league. Because, of course, the Man Cities and the Liverpools will continue to win. But as long as we can continue to win in all styles and different ways, I have the feeling, I've already said, Liverpool will drop off in January. There's no doubt in my mind that when Salah and Mane go, they will drop off.
Yeah.
Man City, I believe, don't have the legs just because the striker gives you the legs to push on. I think we've got all departments sorted. And if Tuchel comes back now after the international break with our easy run of fixtures, like I want to say like tentatively, but easy run of fixtures, you play the guys who are playing well because there's no one in our squad apart from Lukaku for me who is a surefire starter. No one. Play them based on form.
I hear you on that. Mr. Anthony here says Drogba and Costa didn't score in all the games, and it's not Lukaku's fault he cost that much. That's the market right now. You don't have to be the Golden Boot winner. 20 goals, and I'm happy. And that's also the great point. Like he doesn't need to be the Golden Boot winner if Chelsea win the league, and he's important in that. And that's everybody. What I think some fans, and I can't speak for all, but I think there's this notion with fans of, but I want to have the best striker in my team. I want to win the league. But I also want the best striker. I want the best midfielder. I want the best centre-back. And those kind of Twitter debates and sort of fan sort of debates seem to like really weigh on people's minds. Imagine winning against a team that just stopped City and United and finding issue with our players. Yeah. Rom's presence alone helps teams. I mean, in all fairness, it was Rom's back heel that led. There was a great save from McCarthy to deny Timo Werner. And that the hold-up play and back heel from Lukaku were great. Like, if it wasn't for a world-class save, he'd have had an assist today from an output point of view. I've got another super chat. We're going to take a few calls before the end of the show. I want to hear from some Chelsea fans. Christopher says, if you look at Havertz's career, he has always been a second half of the season player. Yeah. If he wants to achieve his full potential, he needs to change that. Do you know what I would say to that, though? He's still very young also. Like, I think people forget. Like,
I was literally about to say, like, the beauty of the Havertz transfer is that when we signed him, he was only 21. So he can have a slow start to his Chelsea career and still be worth 70 mil in a couple of years. Like that is a perfectly possible thing. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. Obviously, I'd love Havertz to be what I think he could be right now. Because if we have that, we're going to have one of the best midfielders in the league. But he can still build into that. Whereas, like someone like Ziyech, you have to really start asking questions because it's like, this is you are this player now. Like you're not going to change in the next 2 or 3 years dramatically. So this is you. If you can't improve then you are going to look like a waste of money. Are you better than Willian? Probably, but that shouldn't be the barometer of where you should be looking at. You should be saying, I need to really like back up my ideas, because right now Ross Barkley's trying to outperform me and he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, you definitely don't need that. We're gonna go to man like David's got them police. I didn't realize card. Hang on, so that's gone off. Now there's a phone. It's all falling apart. We're gonna take some calls now on the show. First up on the show is going to be Dennis to have his say with us. He's a Chelsea fan. Let's do it.
What's up, guys?
Yes, Dennis. How you doing, mate? What do you want to say, buddy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was a really tough performance. And like the super chat said that I saw earlier, saying that, City's dropped points against Southampton and United. So I feel like, we need to relax. Like this was a good response from the 2 L's we took the last 2 games. And I want to say players like Kai, Ziyech, like Pulisic, they should be dropped, man. Like that's how this works at Chelsea, man. We need to continue to play the players that are putting in the best performances. Look at Mason Mount. He took a back seat because he was taking, he was injured and he wasn't playing very well. And look, when he comes on, he's fresh. He has the ideas, like he's being positive. And that's going to be the same for Pulisic, Kai, and yes, when they come in, see Timo's starting ahead of them. Guys like Mason Mount are starting ahead of them. So it's like that's what the culture you want, because you're gonna end up getting the best performance out of the players that are consistently performing. And I think something I wanted to mention, like I love Azpilicueta, right wing back, but look at Livramento, man. You see that player, what he did to Chilwell, to get the penalty. We don't have a right wing back that's gonna take on a defender like that. You know what I mean? When the space is there. And I think that's something that's why Hakimi, getting Hakimi was honestly, in my opinion, not the most priority, but I think it would have really helped us with that right side, because I love Azpilicueta. Sometimes he puts in a good cross, but there's all the space there. And that's why Thomas Tuchel likes to play Hudson-Odoi there, but that's not his natural position. So it's he can't do both jobs, you know what I mean? And Livramento was locking up Hudson-Odoi at times. I was seeing Hudson-Odoi go at him on the left side, and Livramento was holding his own at times. So it's I feel like we really do need a right wing back that is naturally a right wing back. Like the Lamptey. I don't know what he's doing right now. I don't know if he's starting for Brighton right now, but we've had talent there and we've let them go. So hopefully we can get him back, or find someone else who's at least a second option. Because I love Reece, but he doesn't offer that kind of attacking presence other than just the cross. We need a player that can do the ball. Yeah.
Hear that? Great call, mate. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say, bro. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Next caller we're going to on the show is going to be Ben. Ben's here. He was on the show last night. Thanks for coming down last night, mate. What do you want to say?
Evening, all. I was, firstly, I know a lot of people saying about VAR. The IFAB actually criticised our use of VAR and said that we don't use it for its intended purposes. For example, we saw on Sky, Matey Boy Gallagher coming out and saying, well, looking at the way the ball moved, there's no way the referee could have seen it from that angle, so we didn't overturn it. But the whole point of VAR is to give a different angle and give you more angles than the referee can see. And also, I think people forget the Saints are taking points off both Manchester clubs this season. They are underrated. They've had a good. Well, I know they're not in terms of the table after 7 games. They're not, in the top half or where they want to be. But in terms of their fixtures that they've had a really tough fixture list to start with us, both Manchester clubs and whatnot. And actually, they're a good side and a decent team to beat. I think also what Tuchel's got to do, he's got to find a system that allows both Werner and Lukaku to play in. Because at the moment, I sort of look at the system and I think, for me, it's one or the other. And he needs to find a system in which it allows both. The things I don't like the 3-5-2. I think it makes it too narrow. I think we need to be a little bit wider. And also, the last point I want to make is probably a good time for us with the international break. After the first international break, I thought come out a really bad time for us. We just had a decent one draw at Liverpool. We're in form, and then you have a 2-week break. But this time we've got injuries and so on. It will allow people like Kante to get over his COVID and whatnot. And hopefully, after the international break, we'll have a more of a fitter squad to choose from, and you've got a long stretch of games up until Christmas.
Yeah, I think absolutely right on that in terms of I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very jealous of you lot. You get to go and enjoy the international break now, and I'm going to be sitting here in pain. Ben, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. Lamin's on the show now. What are you saying, Lamin?
Hi, Terry, man. That was a much needed win, despite all the efforts from VAR to try and rob us still. On VAR, I don't actually think that's the issue. I think the main issue is, we have inept referees, man. Because every other league got VAR in there. It's only the Premier League, that constantly keep having these issues. And I just don't think the referees in this country are that good enough, really. And I can go from Mike Dean to Anthony fucking Taylor and the referee we just had today, not good enough. None of them are good enough. But besides that, Loftus-Cheek today, he was fantastic. Ross Barkley, I'm glad that he got his chance. And one thing about Tuchel, why he's an elite manager, is that he dropped the likes of Kai Havertz. ZH was dropped today. And I think Jorginho was dropped at the start as well. And he gave chances to these youngsters who came in and actually proved their point. So, which is what an elite manager does. You don't just stick with players just for the sake of it. So, and that's what I expect from my manager.
But at the same time, do you know what, quickly, Lamin, just quickly to add to that, but at the same time, the one thing that we do need to start doing, and we haven't been doing it under Tuchel, is sticking, once we've, like we played how we did today, once they start playing into form like they are now, you want to see some consistency. Allow them to continue to play back-to-back games. Tuchel does like to switch things around, and we have seen it, based on last season, at the beginning of this season. He likes to switch around and alternate his players, and we can do that because we've got the depth. I get that. But I think it's now time, especially because of us trying to suss out offensively who our best two are behind with Lukaku. Today, I thought Cho and Werner have shown that they're good enough to play moving forward into the season. So I think when they come back from the Euros, that they should be given the chance to play, and we shouldn't be switching around and alternating too much as well.
Do you know what? It's an interesting one about rotation. It's almost for the big because of the Champions League. It does make it really hard to not have that rotation. But finding that best 11 is going to be, I think, is key for winning titles to a degree. But then City kind of break that mold, don't they? Do you know what I mean? Because City rotate well. Like Pep Guardiola's learned in the Prem how to rotate and maintain the intensity, which we know Liverpool can't do. They don't have the squad for it. Ollie can't do it because his rotation ability today was mad. Mental. 2-week international break. What does he do? Rest all the players. Madness. No, I totally get what you're saying there, Dan. Listen, that's the end of today's show. Sorry, I know we've got loads more to talk about, but we're live again after Brighton versus Arsenal. I've got to go and watch the majority of the game. I've got to talk about it at the end. Smash that like button before you leave. Thank you to all the new subscribers, all the super chatters, and all the callers today. And of course, my brilliant panel, Jem, David, Manlap, Prime, and of course, Daniel as well in the best jumper on the show today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very